So, unlike Donald Trump's comments about Africa, the continent could be your next trillion-dollar opportunity. I'm Kellyanne Melia, and I've been living and investing in Africa since 2014. I'm talking about all things property, business, and entrepreneurship on the great African continent. So if you'd like to know more, follow my channel, click subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications on my next video. Let's get into it. So for me, I'm all in when it comes to Africa. Here are my 8 compelling reasons why Africa should be on your radar and why I believe it's the next trillion-dollar market. First of all, Africa has a young, educated, and rapidly growing population. By 2050, over 2.4 billion people will live on the African continent, and over half of them will be living in major cities like Kinshasa, Lagos, and Cairo. But most crucially, Africa has the world's largest working age population, with over 77% of people of working age. As the population grows and increasingly moves into cities, there is an incredible amount of opportunity when it comes to providing infrastructure, the demand for education, and of course, if you're in business, offering products and services. The African population growth is in gross contrast to countries like Japan and Germany, where the majority of their populations are of retirement age. So with Africa having a large and young population, it should mean a very buoyant economy. There is opportunity for a broader tax base, with more of the population being in employment. And as well, if you're in business, there are more customers and clients to serve. So Nigeria is leading the way when it comes to population on the continent. It is estimated by 2050 they are going to have at least 377 million people. Niger no they carry last. It's going to happen. Nigeria is going to be the most populous country. Secondly, Africa is abundant in all forms of commodities, whether it be timber, coal, oil, diamonds, copper, cobalt. Africa has it all. So the African resource trap has been well documented over the decades, but I believe that's set to change. Africa is going to be front and center of the energy transition, as it holds a numerous amount of critical minerals that are needed to make, for example, electric vehicles, for carbon capture technology, and for battery storage. So in the interim, countries like Namibia, Mozambique, Uganda, Senegal, they are the next wave of oil and gas producers. This means that they're going to be taking advantage of huge tax revenues and royalties from oil and gas production to be funding increased infrastructure projects, and they will be using this income to develop their infrastructure, to accelerate industrialization, and ultimately reach 100% electrification across their country. So thirdly, agriculture potential on the continent is enormous. Over 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land is found on the African continent. For years, countries like Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Kenya have been exporting fresh fruit and vegetables to Europe and also further afield. But there are also huge opportunities for supplying domestic and regional markets. Let me give you an example. A highly fertile country like Cameroon is right on the border with Nigeria. It could be supplying tomato, pepper, and onion, the base of jollof rice and other stews, to its neighbor, unlocking a huge market. And in DRC, supplying a city like Kinshasa with more agricultural options could be highly lucrative. And these agricultural opportunities are before we even consider deploying technology into farming practices. So technology like hydroponics means you can grow large quantities of fruit and vegetables in smaller areas and have a smarter use of irrigation water. Fourthly, internet penetration rates in Africa are increasing rapidly. Mobile internet adoption has doubled between 2017 and 2023. So landlines were never really a thing on the continent. So this leapfrog to mobile has unlocked a ton of opportunities through the increased availability of 4G and Wi-Fi. It means there are endless possibilities open for innovation in banking and finance, in education, and also media and entertainment. Fifthly, there is a rapid growth in digital payments. The increase in mobile phone usage and internet data affordability has led to a surge in mobile money payments. In Ghana, mobile money penetration is about 39%, in Kenya 57%, Uganda 32%, and in Rwanda 63%. And just to illustrate this point, I made mobile money payments in South Africa years before I could do the same with my UK bank. Reason number 6, African e-commerce is set to explode. Online sales account for just 1% of total retail sales in Africa right now. And by 2025, it is predicted it will reach 10% with a value of around 75 billion USD. Major e-commerce players like Takealot and Jumia are laying the foundations for infrastructure and logistics of e-commerce. And currently there are thousands of product lines that are available for next day delivery in major cities like Lagos, Joburg and Cape Town. Reason number 7, an increasing amount of African destinations are hitting the radars of international travelers. For years, people have traveled to places like Zanzibar in Tanzania and the Kruger National Park in South Africa, but there are a new wave of destinations that are becoming increasingly popular. Places like Senegal, Namibia, Rwanda and Ghana are increasingly popular tourist destinations. The growth of African tourism is also supported by the major African airlines like Rwanda, Kenya Airways, Ethiopian and Airlink, who are connecting the continent with international hubs around the world. And finally, you know that there is something special going on the continent when you have an influx of international brands either making key strategic hires or opening offices on the continent. In the last 3 years alone, brands like Apple, Spotify, Roc Nation, NBA, H&M and Amazon have all created a presence on the continent. If these businesses believe that it is worth investing capacity and building their brand here on the continent, you know for sure there is a $1 trillion opportunity to be explored. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below, and join me for my next video.